This screencast is helping teachers find data from learning target self-assessments. Um, all you need to do this is a unit of learning targets and access to Google or AHApps. I'm going to walk you through some work that a US history team has done, and hopefully it is a useful tool for you. So um, in the past, teachers may have handed out a sheet that looked similar to this. Had students pre-assessing themselves and post-assessing themselves on the same learning targets from the same unit. They want to know if there's growth. And this is a powerful tool for students to enter into analyzing what they need to learn and wondering, how am I ready to take an assessment on this? Have I learned what the teacher told me was the purpose of this unit? And there wasn't an easy way to get fast data on the entire class, um, aside from tallying this kind of information. So what I'll walk you through is a fast way to use Google Forms to do this. So what you'll need to do is put your targets aside, open up your AHApps account. If you need help with this, you can ask your tech coordinator, your achievement coach, um, or anyone else in your department that is comfortable doing this. So what we're going to do, and this might be a new tool in Google for you, and it's great, and it might be something that you end up using for other things. But all you're going to do is go to the Create button and go to Forms, and it's pretty user friendly. But if you have questions, make sure that you ask your achievement coach, or again, technology coordinators would be helpful people in this arena as well. So I am going to title this form Unit 1, and we're going to call it Pre-Assessment. Then what we're going to do is take each one of these learning objectives or learning targets, copy and paste them into the form. What we want students to do is rate themselves on a scale, and we want them to rate them pretty much from a 1 to a 4, 4 being that they feel very confident about this. So I'm not doing multiple choice, I'm doing a scale. And the scale is not 1 to 5 in this case, it's a 1 to 4. And this doesn't let me label, 1, 2, 3, 4 with words. So I'll just use the beginning and the end. And I think that the number 1 said I could use some help. And 4 said move on already. And we'll put an exclamation point there. So that will be what the students do. And I'll quickly show you what this form would look like right away. So this is what the form will look like, and obviously we can make it look nicer and fancier, themes. We can change your theme. You can pick any of these backgrounds if you want to put, I think I've been using this one for forms. That's a good option for you. So, but that's not essential. So if we're going back here, we're going to go back to the Unit 1 Pre, and we're going to edit this now because we probably need more information than just the learning targets, and we need student information. So we're going to add, after we put all the learning targets, and I won't waste time doing that here, I'll show you one that's already been done. We do probably want to know the student name. You could just put student name right here, and then they'll just have a text box to write in. So student name. You could add teacher name if you're going to do this with multiple teachers. I helped a US history team do this, and so we put in that students would choose from a list. So I put, teacher A's name, teacher B's name, teacher C, and then the student would pick that. I also added what class period are they in? So what hour were they in? And we chose from a list of hour 1, hour 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we save this. And it's, like I said, I hope that you find it user-friendly because you can just pull, I want the student name to be the first thing above the learning targets. I want the teacher name to be second. I want the hour to be right there is fine. But you can always move things up and down, and then you can add the ratings, and then, I want another learning target. We'll just go ahead and do that so that you can see it again before I show you how to use this information. So the question type again was that scale. We only have 4. I could use some help and move on already. All right. Okay. So the power of this tool is really the data and what it gives us after at the end. So I'll kind of jump to that now. But hopefully you get the idea of the form. You can view live form at any time to see what it actually looks like. This is what you'll send out to your students, and this is what it looks like for them. So um, I'm going to go now to one that I've made before for the same unit. So we did this. Actually, we'll do one that they've completed. So they just completed in this class the Unit 2 Civil War and Reconstruction assessment. So students completed this, and this is how it looks with all their targets in there. So we want to see the responses. Right now we can see that there's been 86 students that have responded. That's about 3 class periods. This is the live form. Just to show you again, this is what the students completed. They went through and rated this. And this is the responses. So this is what kind of report spits out for you. All the students' individual responses to this, their names, and how they rated themselves. So you can either work with the data in here, or you can export this information. And I'm just going to copy and paste it into Excel. And then I'm going to find the averages. You can also just look at it here, but again, I know that different teachers I'm working with will use data like this for their student achievement goals. And if you're not comfortable in Excel, don't worry. Your achievement coach in your building, again, your tech coordinator could help you. I'm sure your QComp person would be happy to sit down with you with your data if this is a new thing for you and you want to work on this. But all I'm going to do is average these scores. And at the bottom of each category, I'm just going to go up to in Excel and say, I want an average. And just press enter, and that's the average for that column. And then, so I don't have to redo that for each one, I just pull that over. And I have an average for each category. What's nice about this is that I know right now for my students in this class, if I'm teaching this, their average on this first learning target, I can analyze and interpret primary and secondary sources. They feel pretty comfortable with that on a scale from 1 to 4, 3.4. But hopefully, if this is really something I'm working with them on, hopefully by the end of the unit, that's closer to a 4, and so on and so on. This last learning target, they're at a 2.5. Well, I'm hoping that by the end of the unit, before they take the assessment, or maybe even at the final of the whole course, they're at a greater number there. And it's really nice to know this information. So again, if the Excel stuff went over your head a little bit, just pause this and get someone to help you, or just don't worry about it. But you have the data, you can look over it. It is a really helpful tool. So the last piece that I want to show you is, this is online. So what is a good way to get students access to this form? Because they might not have computers in your classroom. One of the things they probably do have in your classroom is their cell phone. And so if you want to get them to quickly fill this out, the teachers we have using this have just had students take out their smartphones. If they don't have a smartphone, it's been good to just provide, a handful of iPods or iPads or any other technology you have access to borrow for the class period. Works well. But unless you have all of their email addresses, you probably don't want to send out this massive link to all of them. So what I would recommend is going to this site called, in Chrome, goo.gl, and it's going to shorten things for you. It's going to shorten the URL and make it faster, and it does some cool things, providing you QR codes, which might be something new to you too, and I don't want to again have this go over people's heads, but it is a great tool, and I'll show you how we use this. So Let's start off. So I went to Google and just typed this goo.gl and downloaded this onto my Chrome. And without kind of walking you through that whole process, because it's pretty self-explanatory and I already have it, is it becomes this URL shortener over here. So again, instead of this massive one right here, we're going to click on this button, and it makes a shortened URL that you could write on the board and tell students to go to this link. Um, if that whole process was too much for you, you can also just type www.tinyurl.url or tinyurl.com, and it will do the same thing. But for those that are more tech savvy and are interested in QR codes, it's pretty great to use this. So I'm actually going to go to the live form of what I really do. So I'd go to this form. This is what I want students to have access to and use. And so I would say, I'm going to click on that button. It makes this into this small URL for me. I'm just going to copy and paste that over here for now, just so I have it. I'll show you where I put it. And then I'm going to click here again and get to that QR code. Pull that on my desktop. And I can do a lot of things with this. I can put it right on a worksheet I would hand out to the students. I can put this, I know the teachers I'm working with right now put it on their projector, and they literally have students take out their phones if they have a QR reader on their phone. And again, if that's something new to you, a lot of students know what this is and it's not overwhelming to them. They think it's kind of fun. They just hold up their phones, scan that, and it will go from this immediately to this. If you want to try it out, take out your smartphone and download the QR Reader app, and you'll be able to do the same and just try this out. It's not a needed thing. If you feel like this again is too much, then just use a shortened URL to get there. One of the things we're really finding though is when you do enter add some of this technology, students really do respond to it and they think it's kind of a fun thing. And yeah, it just gets you the information quickly. So hopefully this gets you an overview of what you could do using Google Apps and getting some data about how your students have done. Oh, that's a different report. And putting into Excel. Again, I'm excited because this will provide us really interesting data after the course or unit has been taught for teachers to know themselves. What areas did students really grow? What areas did they still struggle? And again, if collaborative teams do this, if students felt like they grew really significantly in one teacher's class, being able to debate the limited success and major failures during the reconstruction period, and there was a lot of growth one teacher found in their students, there's strategies they can share with their colleagues. And that's really the strength of obviously collaborating and having some data to back this up. So if you need help with this, if you're at Anoka High School, you can contact me. If you're at the other schools, please contact your achievement coach and or tech coordinator, and I'm sure that they would be happy to help you. But hopefully this was a good introduction to you, and it would be great if this was a tool that you found useful. So thanks and good luck self-assessing your students. It's a powerful tool.